Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Finholm recording a lesson for 7th grade math at Red Wing High School. This is the part 1 lesson recording for concept number 2, simplifying expressions using the order of operations. So our goal today, folks, is to be smarter than all of the people on Facebook who post these viral math problems on Facebook and then comment and make guesses about what the answer should be. So at the end of this video, I'm going to challenge you to come back to the start of the video and solve these viral math problems to see if you can be smarter than Facebook. All right, today's lesson is dealing with the order of operations. This first part is going to review what the order of operations are, and so we need to make sure that we know that key vocabulary of the lesson today. The order of operations, oftentimes folks remember it as PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And so I'm going to introduce you to Aunt Sally today. She is here to take us on a grand adventure. So this is Aunt Sally, and Aunt Sally needs to beg your forgiveness. She would like you to please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, because she paralleled perilous poles, evaded enraged elephants, manipulated and dodged multiple trees and divides as they appeared. That's really an important part, as they appeared. And finally, she ambled swiftly around snakes and army ants to make her way through a math problem today. So I know some of you are rolling your eyes at that wordplay, but for others whose learning style is to learn through words and through story, that memory device and that story of Aunt Sally might help you remember our order of operations when our math problems get complex and complicated later this year. All right, so the bars that Aunt Sally paralleled over look similar to parentheses. Now, it is important to remember that parentheses can look different. We can have a set of parentheses that's the curved type. We also will see later in the year some parentheses that look like brackets. And either way, we're going to solve using the same step. So the first thing in our order of operations is to deal with the parentheses. And so you can see here in this problem, 2 cubed plus the quantity 6 minus 3 times 4 divided by 2 plus 8. 6 minus 3 is in parentheses, and so that number is going to become 3, and everything else carries down exactly how it is. For those of you who identified yourself as star math learners earlier this week, you're going to recognize that this is not your preferred type of math, because I'm writing down and showing every single step, and you mental mathers are going to want to get there in your head. It is really important that we practice writing every step down, because our math later in 7th grade is going to get more complicated, and it's going to be really important that even if it's not your preferred learning style, you are able to organize and lay out your work on paper to go back and find mistakes within multiple steps in a problem. Now that we've paralleled those perilous poles, we're going to evade an enraged elephant. And, oops, there's my drop down. Nope. Sorry about that, folks. I had my pen tool still on. Let me get back to my, move myself over here by Aunt Sally. And we'll drop this down so that we can see that next step. So our next step, you can see here, is to deal with our exponents. The E in PEMDAS stands for exponents. And so 2 to the third is the same as 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 8. And once again, our diamond learners are basking in their ability to copy down and follow specific steps in their organized notes. And so we're going to carry down everything we haven't dealt with or worked with yet. Once we've simplified all of the exponents, we're going to move on to those trees, those multiple trees and divides. And so when we do that, we're going to divide from left to right. That's really important. Okay, we read from left to right, we multiply and divide from left to right. And so you'll notice that first we're going to take 3 times 4, which becomes 12. And then we'll take 12 divided by 2, which becomes 6. Okay, we did that from left to right. In this case, the multiplication came first, followed by the division. It could be that division would come first. And if division comes first, then we would do that first and then do the multiplication. All right, and our last step is usually the one people like the best because it's adding and subtracting, and it's what we already know how to do. 8 plus 6 is 14. 14 plus 8 is 22. And again, you'll notice here that we want to simplify from left to right, just like the way we would read a paper. All right, now it is your turn. So I am going to pause and encourage you to pause the video as well and ask you to write down these 4 example problems. And when I return, I will have the steps and the answers for you to check your work. Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you were able to write down these 4 practice problems. You should have noticed something similar about them. They all deal with the same 3 numbers in their original problem. Every single one of these problems has the numbers 7, 144, and 12 in them. And yet you can see we get very different answers depending on where we put parentheses and what order we use those numbers and those multiplications in. Now, I want to point out in this 4th example that even though there's no parentheses, we had to do the 144 times 12 first because that's multiplication, and multiplication comes before adding. So for those of you who are visual learners, my triangle learners, I haven't forgotten you. You're going to find it really helpful that whenever you see multiplication or division, you add those parentheses in to give you a visual reminder of what you should do first. Hopefully this helps you remember our order of operations and PEMDAS because we will use it over and over and over again all of 7th grade math. Until next time.